Hello, welcome to the Kyle's Car Farm channel. Today I'm working on something a little different. I have a Craftsman C3 half-inch drive impact wrench here that I'm going to be repairing. Well, it's not that one, it's actually this one. Got two of these, and since they don't make them anymore, I've got a lot of batteries and I want to try to fix it. Well, here's what I found wrong once I got this one apart. It just wouldn't do anything. The lights would light up on the front, the little LED lights, but it wouldn't move whatsoever. So what I found is that the electric motor actually came loose from the drive. There's a couple of screws that go in this way from the head, and those that came loose, which caused the motor to spin, which caused that wire down there to disconnect. And I've already repaired this one other time. Beautiful soldering job there. But I'm going to see if I can fix it again. It's the second time I've had this problem. So hopefully I'll figure out some way to get those screws to stay in there. I Loctited them last time, but it must not have been enough. Pretty basic disassembly. Take all the screws out of the one side of the case. This is pretty much standard for any power tool. And you can pull half the case off. And then there are some screws that come down from the head that I also need to remove. Next step of disassembly is to unplug the LED lights on the front. Get that out of the way. Then you can pull the electric motor in the head up out of the other side of the case and, well, pull this off. Couldn't really do it on camera, but then you can pull the drive apart, and that's where those two little screws go in that hold the drive to the motor. So the screws holes that were being used are kind of wallered out. Looks like it's been loose for a while. But I think I can rotate the motor and just use these other two. I'll just have to extend the wires that go on the brushes a little bit to accommodate for that. Okay, got those screws reinstalled in the other holes as tight as I could. I think it'll hold together now, and just got to reassemble it. Okay, long story short, I got the screws back in, got the head back on. I took it the rest of the way out of the case, put a C-clamp on it to hold the head back together. Now, I've got to extend this black wire. I'm actually just going to take it out and put a whole new one in. Since the motor is tilted a little bit, got to make that about an inch longer. And I'll solder a new wire in there, and hopefully it'll work again. Got a new wire soldered to the switch. Now I just need to get it connected to the motor and reattach that red wire in a better manner. I think the hardest part of trying to do this is not having a vise in this shop to hold anything, but making it work. It ain't pretty, but I got it soldered back on there. Getting it all shoved back together, getting my wires tucked in. It's all going back together nicely. Now there's a little bare spot on that red wire there. So I decided to do the right thing. Put a little gasket maker on it so it wasn't bare. Final assembly going on. I have got the impact back together. Right here is where the screws hold this to the electric motor. Head came out. And I've got that all snugged up, got those screws tight. So hopefully this thing will hold together. Got my wiring back in, my beautiful solder job there. No, let's not look at that. Anyway, got all the wires tucked back in. It's just time to put the case on and see if it'll work. Alright, it's all back together. Got the case on it. It was a little bit tougher because I had to rotate that motor up in here, getting the wires, getting this top part over the wires, but I got it done. So, well, here's the moment of truth. Does it work now? Yes! So, If you're cheap like me, and years ago you bought a Craftsman 19.2 volt half-inch impact wrench, and you're cheap like me now and don't want to buy a new one, maybe this video will hopefully help you fix a common problem of those screws coming out of the motor. So 19.2 half-inch impact action 2.0. So this one is my brother's, and I know it's his because it has his name on it. So what his was having an issue was just a growling noise up here in the head, and I'm pretty sure that what it is that this bushing right here is super dry. So I'm going to grease that and put it back together. Now this one I was able to just take the head off the front of it because the LED lights did not work, and I found out why. It's because the wires, you can see them right there, are actually broken. And so otherwise you have to pull the side of the impact off in order to unplug those wires so you can pull the head off. But this one I just didn't have to do that. But you see down in there, those two black spots on the right and the left, those are the two Phillips screws that come loose, and that's what I had to repair on the first one. So just a little different view, a different problem on a different impact. And like I said, if you're cheap and you bought one of these to begin with, well, hopefully you can keep the darn thing working so you don't have to spend a bunch of money on, you know, a good one like a Milwaukee or something like that. So, all right, 2 working impacts. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to Kyle's Car Farm.